Hi friends. Today I want to talk about something pretty serious. So, right off the top, there is a trigger warning with this video. I'm going to be talking about suicide. So, if you're not in the right space to hear that, don't want to hear that, go ahead and stop watching. Won't hurt my feelings. But, something happened recently that I feel it's important to talk about. In the small community where I live, there was a recent tragedy where a young person took their own life. And it really shook me. It really rattled me. Because this person was not much older than my own child. And I've spent quite a bit of time thinking about it, not only because of just the heartbreak that their family must be going through, but thinking about the heartbreak and the pain that this person themselves was experiencing. For me, I can't recall a time where I actually thought about ending my own life, but there were several times over the years growing up where I just didn't want to be here anymore. Didn't want to have to do anything anymore because I was tired of everything that I had to do because I was born with a cleft. I had my first surgery around 3 months old and then had 12 more over the course of my young life until about 14 years old. And there were lots of times where I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was mad, I was frustrated, I was pissed off that I'd been born with a cleft and I had to endure the pain, the recovery of the surgeries, but also being treated differently just because I looked different. I was tired of the looks, the stares, the questions, the rude comments, and I was tired of people thinking that they deserved some sort of explanation about why I looked the way I looked, even if I didn't even know them. I was tired, and I was frustrated, and I was sad. And so, when I learned the news of this young person, it really got me thinking just how hard it is when we're kids, just how hard it is growing up. And for people that are born with any kind of visible difference, we can feel extra hardship and extra pain. But frankly, everybody has something, right? You can be bullied no matter if you look like me or you look like a supermodel. People will always find ways to try to cut you down. So in sharing the news and talking with my own child about this tragic event in our community, I shared with her some words that I wished I would have taken to heart more when I was growing up. And that is that this will pass. Now you may say that sounds cliche, that they're empty words. It's easier said than done. And you may be right. And you are right. It's always easier to say something than to do something. But the words are still true. The sentiment is still true. Because nothing lasts forever. And the feelings that I had of not wanting to be here anymore, because I was tired of having to go through the pain of my surgeries, the ridicule from strangers, those moments did pass. You just have to hang on. So when you're in those moments of deep despair, of pain, of thinking that no one understands, that moment will pass. In the small town that I grew up in, I never saw anybody that looked like me. And it wasn't until around high school age that I ever saw anybody else that had a cleft. So those moments where I felt alone, isolated, that nobody understood, they're valid feelings, but they're also feelings that aren't 100% correct. There are people out there who do understand, who can support you. As a parent, I think it's our responsibility to think about, work through, and talk about these things with our kids. It's hard because the truth is, we can't change how our children feel about themselves. It's an inside job. But what we can do is help them find ways of connecting with others, supporting them, doing our best to provide a safe and comforting home for them, keeping the lines of conversation open, because those are the things that will help build a foundation in which they can come back to and rely on when they're having moments of doubt or pain. And it's not easy work. There's not much more difficult in life than to see our children in pain, and especially when it comes to emotional pain, because there isn't a Band-Aid, there isn't a medicine that we can use to fix that for them. So the thing that I want to tell to your kids is that remember that these moments will pass, and don't let one moment lead to one decision that changes everything. Life is long, and in those moments where you're feeling that kind of pain, that kind of hurt, it can feel overwhelming and all-encompassing, but it will pass. And when it does, reach out for support. Don't keep those feelings inside. If you aren't comfortable talking out loud to somebody about it, get a journal, write it down, get it out. Shining a light onto the darkness can really help. These moments will pass. You just have to hang on.